We're all about answering your questions, and we get a lot of questions on this new remote by TOTO that's designed for not only the S7 and the S7A bidet seat, but also their entry-level integrated unit, the RS. So today, we want to go over this remote in detail so that you have all of the answers. My name is Daniel Johnson. I'm the owner and founder of ManyBidets.com, where you can get expert advice on all things bidets. Now, before we dig in too much, it's important to note that because of how new these units are, we have tested this remote with the seats, but we have not fully tested this remote with the integrated units. So we assume that they are the same. However, there may be some slight variations. So let's go ahead and start with the large buttons at the top. We have stop. We have your rear wash. There are two versions. There's the normal rear wash, and there's the soft rear wash. Press it a second time to toggle. There's the feminine wash or the front wash, and the soft feminine or front wash, which honestly is a little bit more like a mist. There's a dryer, and there's your user presets. User preset 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll talk more about user presets in a little bit as the user presets lock in settings that we've not talked about yet. Let's go ahead and talk about the bottom row of buttons next. First, we have our self-cleaning. So the self-cleaning is where the seat runs water over the nozzle to clean it. Some people mistake this as leaking. It's not leaking, it's cleaning the nozzle. This happens before and after each wash, but you can also run it manually by clicking this button. The deodorizer button is next. This button press starts the deodorizer and stops the deodorizer if it's currently running. If you run the deodorizer and stand up after a wash is done, it will run for about a minute extra and then auto turn off. These plus and minus buttons allow us to adjust the pressure up and down to meet our needs. These pressure adjustments, along with the ability to choose regular or soft wash, gives us a really good range, really the best in the industry with TOTO products. You also have the option to change the nozzle position forwards and backwards so that you make sure it's hitting the target as intended. It's important to note that TOTO is one of the few seats that has a telescoping nozzle, which means that it has really good range, and these buttons allow you to adjust that range as needed. Next, we have the pulsating button. This pulsates between hard and soft streams to kind of massage the area and possibly help to stimulate a bowel movement if needed. Now, if you're looking to clean more surface area due to a messy bowel movement, you can always use the oscillation button, which moves the nozzle back and forth, allowing you to clean more area quickly. With either of these two options, you press it once to start it, and if you decide to turn it off before the wash is complete, you would press it again. If you want to turn it off once the wash is complete, you just hit the stop button. So let's talk about the back of the remote. First, we have the power button. Pressing and holding on this for 3 seconds will toggle power on or off depending on the current status of the unit. We also have another way to power it down. If this is locked into the wall mount and we don't have access to the back, we can press and hold on the stop and the plus button for 10 seconds. And once that time's expired, we'll see everything flash on the remote, like so. And then we press plus, minus, plus, and that's going to toggle power on or off for the unit as well. This is an improvement to prior generations where it was just a single press and hold of a button, which happened by mistake sometimes and we'd get calls. So I appreciate the fact that they made that a bit more complicated. We tested each of these features. When we couldn't find what the settings button did on the back, we decided to resort to the manual, and the manual didn't give us any information. So we're not sure what the settings button does, if it does anything, but if we find out otherwise, or if you know, comment, we'll share that in the video description. On the back up here at the top, we can see a nozzle cleaning button. This differs from the nozzle cleaning button on the front in the respect that the nozzle cleaning button on the front runs a standard nozzle clean. The button on the back actually brings the nozzle out of its housing without spraying water, so you can manually clean it with a toothbrush a soft rag, whatever you decide to clean it with. If you want to do a manual pre-mist, you have that button on the back here as well. And then the toilet bowl with a toilet bowl brush in it is for your integrated unit, the RS, lowering the water level in the toilet bowl so that you can use a toilet brush on it and get everything clean. This button serves no purpose for the S7A and the S7 because this is a integrated unit function, not a seat function, and they both use the same remote. So as you can see from this first section, this category, if you will, is all about cleaning. This next category is all about temperatures. So we have water heating. You can see how it cycles through the different LEDs, hottest setting, lowest setting off. And then the same thing is true for your seat heat as well as your dryer heat. So you can set all of those as you see fit. Now, when it's mounted on the wall, you don't have access to those settings. So you can either take it out, hold it in hand to change those, or set them and set the user presets so that when the time comes, you just use the applicable user preset and you don't need to take it out of the wall mount. So since we're on the topic, let's talk about user presets. You can set a user preset mid-wash, or you can select the settings without running a wash and select the user preset. So we can see here, as an example, I can adjust pressure, I can adjust temperature, I can set all of these settings even if I'm not currently running a wash. Now once I have everything where I want it, I just press and hold on this for about 5 seconds and it will save that user preset. You can see from the LED light, I'm currently on user preset 1. I can do 2, press and hold again, set the number 2, etc. So you can set up to 4 user presets. One of the interesting things to note about the user presets is that you can select the user presets as well before starting the wash. So if you have a wash that you want to run, but you don't want it to start until all of the settings are set, you can set the user presets before starting the wash. The other interesting thing to note is that the user presets are not wash specific. So in other words, if I have user preset 1 set to full pressure and full temperature for rear wash, user preset number 1 is going to be full pressure and full temperature for front wash as well. So you have 4 settings, but those settings are consistent regardless of which wash you're running. This user preset also affects nozzle position. So if you have the nozzle perfectly on target and you want to save it, the user preset can help with that as well. So let's talk about the energy saving settings. We have Energy Saver and Energy Saver Plus. The Energy Saver button detects when the unit is used least frequently. This takes about 10 days to do, and it turns the seat heater down during those times when it's used less frequently. The Energy Saver Plus, exact same concept, except for it turns the seat heater off during times when it detects seat is used least frequently. You also have an option here to turn the seat heater off completely for 6 to 9 hours, simply by pressing these buttons, or turning that off altogether. So now we're going to talk about auto functions. This auto category will make more sense in a moment, but let's talk about where auto functions are on the remote before we jump into this section. On this particular remote, we don't have an auto flush kit, nor is it a remote for the RS, so we just have auto opening options here. We have the lid and we have the seat in the lid. Now it's also going to automatically open the lid when you walk up to it. So this may be used more for closing, but you have both options here. If you have an RS remote or you have an auto flush kit with a Washlet Plus unit, your remote's going to look more like this. Here are the auto flush buttons. Now if it is not an RS, these buttons have to be manually installed. So if you have this remote and you bought a Washlet Plus system and you call us and you say you sent me the wrong remote, we're going to tell you to look in the packaging for the auto flush kit. And the reason is this is always how the seat remote is going to arrive. But then you take this top piece off and you replace it with this top piece. So here are the flush buttons. you can see the same exact actuators here for both. And that's because they are literally the same remote, just with a different cover. So this is large flush and this is small flush. If you want to turn auto opening and closing off, or you want to turn auto flushing off, these options allow you to do that. As we've shared, we've done a lot of testing with this remote. However, we were not able to find anything that this button did for any of the units that we tested. So we said, okay, we will resort to the manual. We did, and we still have no clue because the manual doesn't talk about it. So if you know what it does, please feel free to share so that we can share with our customers as well. But to date, we do not know what this button does. Now, this remote has a couple of different wall mounts that can be attached with screws or with adhesive. This one that connects via magnet, or this one that actually snaps into the wall mount so that you don't have it taken off the wall mount. So maybe in your master bathroom, as an example, you would want something like this. But if it's a guest bath, this might make more sense so that it's not being taken off, dropped, or lost. So anytime that you have a unit like this in a public space, being able to lock it into the wall mount is a great feature. So I'm assuming that most of you came to this video because you already have one of the TOTO products and you wanted to learn how the remote worked. However, some of you might have just been browsing YouTube and ran across this and now can't wait to get your hands on a TOTO Washlet. If that's you, good news. We sell those, we offer feedback on those, we offer feedback on which unit to get. Reach out to us, we can help. There is a link in the video description to our site, and we specialize in helping people like you before and after their purchase from Mini Bidets. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.
MiniBidets.com, where we sell mini bidets, not mini bidets.